Do you swear that the evidence to be given to you in the court shall be the truth?
Brenda Van Quatham was the administrator of Caressant Care, the facility in Woodstock, Ontario, where Wettlaufer has since admitted to killing 7 of her 8 victims.
She'd be friendly. She was respectful.
But the inquiry looking into how Wettlaufer's crimes went undetected for a decade was shown another side of the nurse. A series of documents revealing Wettlaufer was suspended or reprimanded at least 9 times by Caressant Care for a litany of medical errors, as well as abuse of elderly patients. Van Quatham conceded Caressant Care, like many other long-term care homes, struggled to find nurses to look after the elderly.
Recruiting was very difficult. Retention, we tried to keep who we had because there was such a shortage of registered nurses.
The lawyer, representing families of 4 of the victims, calls that testimony troubling.
A nurse who should not have been there, or who in any other circumstance may have been terminated much earlier, was allowed to stay simply because there were repercussions of not having any nurse there in the environment at the time.
CBC News has learned that Caressant Care had increasing concerns about Wettlaufer's mental health. In August 2011, they recommended to the nurse she take a leave of absence. She refused, and instead, within weeks, went on a lethal tear inside the nursing home. Wettlaufer injected deadly doses of insulin into 3 elderly women in the span of just 25 days. A year later, Caressant Care once again had concerns about Wettlaufer's state of mind and the safety of her patients. They warned Wettlaufer they may report her to Ontario's College of Nurses for a fitness to practice hearing that may have put an end to her career. They never did. And Wettlaufer killed 2 more patients at Caressant Care, but her employers still had no idea.
Did you think she was a good nurse at that point in time?
I think that we thought she had the capabilities of being a good nurse.
Finally, in 2014, Wettlaufer was fired.
I was so angry.
And 2 years later, she confessed her crimes to police.
It isn't about me. It isn't that.
Deaths her former supervisor still struggles with. John Lancaster, CBC News, St. Thomas, Ontario.